Hare Krishna, Lavanya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to Gurudev. This is Radha from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, always to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Bol.
We cannot see you, Maharaj.
Oh, you want to see me too? Okay. So.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
1 second, Maharaj. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardan Swami Maharaj to enlighten us on topic Srimad Bhagavatam verse 4.29.50. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining and giving your valuable association and time this morning. You can take over the call, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So
shall I share the screen, Maharaj, for the words?
Okay. You can share the screen. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyan Gyana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam.
Maharaj, your voice is not coming through.
Maharaj got muted. We have to ask unmuted.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Can you unmute yourself?
Oh, Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, Text 50. Narad Muni speaking here continues speaking with King Prachinibarhi. Harir deha bitam atma swayam prakritir ispara tatpadamulam sharanam yatakshemo nidam iha. Harir deha bitam atma swayam prakritir ispara tatpadamulam sharanam yatakshemo nidam iha. Translation. Sri Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the super soul and guide of all living entities who have accepted material bodies within this world. He is the supreme controller of all material activities in material nature. He is also our best friend, and everyone should take shelter at his lotus feet. In doing so, one's life will be auspicious. I repeat translation. Sri Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the super soul and guide of all living entities who have accepted material bodies within this world. He is the supreme controller of all material activities in material nature. He is also our best friend, and everyone should take shelter at his lotus feet. In doing so, one's life will be auspicious. Srila Prabhupada's purport. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 61, it is said, Ishvara sarva bhutanam ridhesi arjuna tishtati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. The living entity is within the body, and the super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is also there. He is called Antaryami and Chaitya Guru. So there are three aspects of truth, completely describing the Supreme Absolute Truth as the Brahman, the Parabrahman, actually. We're all Brahman, we're all spirit souls, but he is the Supreme. And he is situated in everyone's heart as the Paramatma. That's the second feature of the Supreme Lord. Localized aspect. Paramatma is present in everyone's heart and in every atom, in every nook and corner of the creation. Super soul. And then there is the Bhagavan feature of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, Shama Sundar, the three-vending form of the Supreme Lord who resides in the spiritual world, namely Goloka Vrindavan. And he's also present in everyone's heart here in the material world at the same time. He knows past, present, and future. He is the Setragya, ultimate Setragya. We're in an individual Setragya. We know our body, our own body, well, up to a certain extent. But Krishna knows everybody. He is the complete. And so he is within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. He says that he is the witness, an observer. And he also permits, and he also the supreme controller. Supreme permitter, he can control and he can permit. It's up to him out of his free will. But according to the fruits, the results of our activities, especially fruitive gain and also desires, different desires that keeps us coming back so many lifetimes and in different species of life. But Lord Krishna as Paramatma, he continues to guide us always, like with us, the jiva. Whatever body, whatever form of body we attain, the Supreme Lord is still with us. And it says that it's like compared to two birds and a tree. In a tree, two birds. One likes to enjoy the fruits, and the other one saying, no, please, because if you want to enjoy, in this world, then it'll be a cause of your suffering as well. There's no such thing as always or only enjoyment, because this is the goal of life: how to be happy, how to be satisfied, how to be properly situated, how to be comfortable, no problem, no anxiety. But it's not problem, because part of this world means suffering. So the living entity within, from within, the heart, it's like the heart, in the heart is the Paramatma. But what is that heart? Is that the same heart that we have right now? This material heart, that organ that's pumping blood? Or is there like a subtle heart of the soul where the Paramatma resides? Or also besides? Besides the jiva, besides the living entity, which is embodied in this body, and always guiding us, always giving us direction. What we call the Antaryami. He knows what's inside, in and out of us. He knows past, present, and future. He knows even what we're, the decision. Materially, we all have destiny, but spiritually, we all end up together in the spiritual world, and with the help of the Paramatma, because he's guiding us. He's just like not letting the jivas remain in the material world. He's trying to give us information that yes, you should get out of this world as soon as possible. So Chaitya Guru means from within is a spiritual master. From without is the living spiritual master. Anyone who wants to go back home, back to Godhead, must take shelter of the spiritual master. And the living spiritual masters, they are representing also the Paramatma. They're like bona fide representative of the Paramatma, because they will also give the same information to help the conditioned souls to go back home, back to Godhead. And it says, if you want to make your life auspicious, then one must surrender unto a bona fide spiritual master and serve him. So, yes, Chaitya Guru is the living spiritual master is the representative of Chaitya Guru, which is none other than, or who is none other than the Paramatma, the super soul, who is within everyone's hearts and everywhere. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, he is controlling everything. Sarvasya chaham hidisha nibishtu matasmritir jnanam apuhanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So yes, this is one of the qualities or characteristics, or how the super soul, the Paramatma, is not like us. He's beyond us. He's the knower of everything. Mata smritir apuhanam cha, jnanam apuhanam cha. Yeah, our remembrance, our forgetfulness. He's the source. Knowledge. But if we forget Krishna, he let us do it also, Paramatma. Anyone who wishes to forget Krishna, then Prabhupada says Krishna will make arrangement for one to forget him. But if one wants to remember him, which is the goal, this is the goal of the devotees, is to always remember Krishna's lotus feet. Take shelter of his lotus feet. And then, yes, as Paramatma, he'll give for knowledge, more knowledge and remembrance of him. Te sam sadatan yuktanam. Oh, that's the next verse. So we read, everything is being directed by the super soul within the body. Therefore, the better part of valor is to take his direction and be happy. To take his direction, one needs to be a devotee. And this is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Tesam sadata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadhami buddhi yogam tam inamam upayantite. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So this is the Tesam Satatam Yuktanam, is just being engaged as well, always, constantly, incessantly also is like no end. It's like eternal. Because this is the nature of the devotees, always discussing, they're always talking about the Supreme Absolute Truth, Sri Hari, his activities, his pastimes, his relationship with his devotees, his the way how he protects his devotees. He protect because he's the ultimate benefactor. He's the only friend. The super soul is our only friend, always trying to give us messages whereby we can get out of this material world for our own benefit, ultimate benefit. Nothing that the super soul will not do to have the conditioned souls not to be saved from the cycle of repeated birth and death. But the jiva has their own minute independence. This minute independence is like a jewel that we have to take care of it. It's like if you have a very precious gem. Sometimes you put in a vault, in a safety vault. So similarly, this minute independence, if we act due to false ego and neglect or disobey the instructions from the Paramatma, or in the actual, that means if we neglect or disobey the orders of the spiritual master, our spiritual master, who is the representative of the Paramatma, then our life will be doomed. That means doomed means more repeated birth, death, old age, and disease, birth after birth. The only way how we can get out of this world is by serving Sri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, and worshiping the spiritual master means following his instructions, not to disobey or to neglect. This is one of the offenses in chanting of the holy names of the Lord, and to consider him as an ordinary man. He's not an ordinary person. Anyone who sees the spiritual master as an ordinary person is also not be able to advance and may ruin even his devotion, because one will be offensive to a pure devotee. And therefore, yes, the super soul is in everyone's heart, is bara sarvabhutanam hridesya arjuna tistati. He talks only to the pure devotees who constantly engage in his service. So yes, this is, it says that anyone whose senses are fully controlled, then the mind becomes peaceful. And when the mind becomes peaceful, the super soul is already rich. So how can the mind be peaceful? Well, as long as one is always thinking for sense pleasure, personal happiness, things that doesn't concern the Supreme Lord or his devotees, then one cannot become peaceful. He can only be peaceful if he's focused on the Supreme Lord, his nature, his name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes. Then that's the only one. Only one can say that he is peaceful. Other than that, he is not peaceful. And then how can he hear the Paramatma if he is not peaceful? Sometimes there is also, from time to time, devotees that may hear like a certain, like as if someone is talking or giving guidance. Could be that Paramatma, yes, for sure. But then if there is some dictation, so yes, you should enjoy this is good for you. You should try it because the happiness that you're looking for can be found here. But that is Maya. That means your mind is cheating you. That means you'll become more disturbed. You'll become more disturbed if that will be followed. So that's why the spiritual master is very important in spiritual life, because he can guide us, living actual living person, and he can give us direction if there is some difficulties in the spiritual life. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Anjalila, chapter 3, text 45, it is said, Tahare se bhali vidya mantra adyayana Krishna pada padme ye karaye stira mana. One who has fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna is to be understood as having the best education and as having studied all the Vedas. Yes. This is the goal of the devotees. Their vision is that they're always attached to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Why is that so? Lotus feet. A lotus is very soft. Lotus is the last most beautiful thing that one can find in this world. Right now, it is the last most beautiful, and it will always be the last most beautiful thing in this world, especially the blue lotus flower. The blue lotus flower only grows where there is so tranquil, so the vibration is more in a mode of goodness. It will not grow in city slums or canals. No, they grow up in the Himalayas. As compared to the blue lotus, it's like Krishna's form, or the body is compared to bluish black, like rain cloud. So blue lotus flower or blue lotus feet of Lord Krishna is like the goal. Is the goal. It is the best. It says here is having the best education. Is to be understood as having the best education. Yes, education. It's like we had a program with. It's like more of an interfaith in Washington D.C. Recently, And yeah, they're talking about the community, how they can improve, how they can give the best facilities, including education, so that they will grow with good moral values in life. The citizens who live in their county or in their area. So yes, when it comes to education, then I told them real education means understanding who is the Supreme Lord, who is the Father of everyone, who we are, and what is our relationship with Him. What is this world? Is there another world after this? These are type of knowledge that we need to know in order to get out of this material world, and it has to come from like proper source. So that education is being taught since time immemorial. That param gyanam, the topmost knowledge, uh, is also directly coming from the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna. Then he told it to Brahma, then to Narada, then to Vyas, then to Madhva, and then the cyclic succession goes on. So yes, best education, because this is the education that actually can free us from the cycle of repeated birth and death. It's like our movement, we offer three products: book distribution, prasadam distribution, and Harinam Sankirtan. This is our like weapons, Sankirtan weapons to kill the ignorance of the conditioned souls in the age of Kali, to give them the best education as much as possible. And it's like as Prabhupada says, I was listening in class the other day. He says the process says in the Bhagavad Gita is bahunam janamanam ante. Ganavamam prapajante Vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. It takes many, many lifetimes, bahunam, before one can be called as a Mahatma. Mahatma means a great soul, one who knows the science of Krishna consciousness. Mahatma is a devotee. His only aim is to serve the Lord and his devotees, the Vaishnavas. So yes, uh, the knowledge is for everyone. Is for everyone, not just certain elite class of people. There are also other appropriate quotes in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Say vidyara pala janiha nischaya Krishna pada padme yadi chitta vriti raya. The perfect result of an education is the fixing of one's mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Again, it's like blossoming. This is the king of education, and because it pertains unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Digvijaya kariba vidyara karye nahi isvare vajile se vidya satya kahe. Conquering the world by means of material education is not desirable. If one engages himself in devotional service, his education is perfected. Pare kene loka Krishna bhakti jani bare seyadi nahila tabe vidyaya kikare. The purpose of education is to understand Krishna and his devotional service. If one does not do so, then education is false. This is real education, real knowledge. It's absolute. What is true yesterday is true today, and it'll be true tomorrow. and it'll be truth eternally. So unlike the modern day education and the knowledge that one receives in our so-called schools, schools of learning, but learning how to become more materialistic, how to be part of the rat race. As Prabhupada says, modern education, he says that it is like a slaughterhouse. In the slaughterhouse, ooh, animals are being killed, slaughtered. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a section whereby, in the 10th canto, that anyone who does not attain the goal of life in this human form of life, because it's the best vehicle, and he misused this human form of life. He did not take advantage. Therefore, he's called Atmaha. Atmaha means killer of the soul. Killer of the soul. But how can the soul be killed? Because we've heard from Bhagavad Gita, the soul cannot be cut into pieces, it cannot be withered by the wind, it cannot be burned by fire, cannot be wet by water. It is completely spiritual. It has an eternal life, eternally existing. So how can we kill? Well, because if one missed the opportunity in this human form of life and not be able to develop love for Krishna, then yes, it becomes like a waste of time, and therefore one has to suffer again repeated birth and death. Tahare se bali dharma karma sadachara ishvare se priti janme shamata shaghara. Being cultured, educated, very active, and religious means developing natural love for Krishna. Anjalila, chapter 3, text 44. Everyone has dormant love for Krishna, and by culture and education, that has to be awakened. That is the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement. Once Lord Chaitanya asked Sri Ramananda Roy what the best part of education was, and Ramananda Roy replied that the best part of education is advancement in Krishna consciousness. You see, the nature of Krishna consciousness is in such a way that it gives the highest education. This is the real education. Again, this is not the same as like when Prabhupada, he went to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I believe this is in Boston. They're very prestigious. You have to have a high brain IQ to study in those kinds of institutions. So he asked, is there any department here that talks about the science of the soul? Well, you have what? Psychology. Psychology means study of the mind also. So many mathematics, science, biology, and no one can answer, Prabhupada. No one can answer. That yes, we have this department in our university. No, there is no department in the university anywhere in the world that talks about the science of the soul. Talks about the nature of the living entities, the creator. What is this cosmic manifestation? What is this world? Is there a world besides this? How can we go there where there is, in that place where there is no anxiety, no sufferings, no miseries, no problems? But in the material world, this is the norm. This is natural. Especially those who are entangled, more are the grihastas, the householders who um, they missed the purpose of human form of life. They become entangled too much with personal uh, sense enjoyment and extended wise to their children. Um, as long as we're attached to our family members and forget the purpose of human form of life, then we will not attain auspiciousness. Auspiciousness is attained when we take shelter of bona fide spiritual master, follow his instructions, serve the Vaishnavas, always willing to do service, especially helping, serving the Vaishnavas. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, serving those who are engaged fully, serving the Supreme Lord gives us a pathway where it's easily one can attain pure devotional service because they're always engaged in those activities, the devotees of the Supreme Lord. Then it's easier for us to purify our hearts. And when the heart is purified, then we'll be able to fully understand, realize, and act. Hmm. The whole conclusion is that if one wants to go back home, back to Godhead, then he should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord and serve the Vaishnavas. Don't offend any Vaishnavas. Then one can go back home, back to Godhead, even in the Grihasta life, and that can be done if we understand that Krishna is the proprietor. I'm only taking shelter of this. Uh, Everything that I do, actually, I'm take is for my ultimately for my benefit also, because if I surrender unto the Supreme Lord, then I'm assured to be protected. This is the nature of the Supreme Lord. He will not leave us alone. The devotees, Krishna, we're just trying to become devotees, but what to say of those devotees who are engaged 24 hours a day? Krishna protects them 100%. To the degree that we are surrendered, and then to the degree that we are protected. We should not expect more from Krishna. Krishna knows how to appreciate and how to reciprocate with his devotees. So in doing so, yes, our process, Prabhupada says, at least there should be one class in the society who should teach, uh, set an example. Brahmanas are like that. They give charity, but the charity that they give is a topmost charity because it's knowledge about the absolute truth. No other charity also can be higher than that. Of course, there's many ways when it comes to charity. That means this doesn't diminish. It's only increasing. The more we practice Krishna consciousness, the more we become detached, which is not so easy because of the nature of false ego. It's always thinking I, me, and mine, for my family, for my relatives, and so on. So someday we have to give this up, give this bodily relationship. We're all related, of course, because Krishna is our ultimately our Supreme Father. So yes, in Krishna consciousness, one has to wake up. I mean, not just your eyes is open, but wake up means understanding that everything is completely under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, and I'm just an instrument, trying to be a servant of a servant of a servant of the servant um, of the Supreme Lord. And in this way, one's life will be auspicious. Auspicious means sublime. Um, in the early days, Prabhupada would use that. Chant Hare Krishna and your life will be sublime. Then also chant and be happy. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Same thing, because it's eternal. Those whose eyes are tinged with love of Krishna, Shama Sundar, then their vision is different. They see more everything than I mean, increasingly. I always see that Krishna is behind everything, and Krishna is the ultimate, again, permitter and controller. But this is for the benefit of his devotees. He deals differently in such a way, even though he's equal to everyone. Samoham sarvabhotesu na me dveshyosteya priya. He doesn't have a friend. He doesn't have an enemy. The Supreme Lord is like that. But to his devotees, he is more inclined. He takes care more of his devotees. It's like in school, there is like, a pet student. There are those who doesn't want to do their homework. They're lazy. They're just like, wasting time. But the teacher will still teach everybody. If he's in the classroom, that person who is not inclined to learn is in the classroom, the teacher will still continue teaching. But he'll give or she'll give more attention to the person who's trying or doing good. So similarly, the Supreme Lord, he takes care more of his devotees, and devotees will be able to reciprocate, and the Lord talks to them. It's not just one way. It's a two-way relationship between the devotees and the Supreme Lord. So this is our goal, and we're on the right path. Ramananda Roy, who was asked by the Supreme Lord. It was twice now. Most of the conversations between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees is like not asking for questions that obviously Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows already. So Ramananda Roy is one of them. And then there is also in the past times that Harinam Chintamani. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like the one who was asking to Haridas Thakur about Nama Tattva, the glories, Nama Mahima, the glories of the holy name, the truth about the holy name. So yes, this is the highest education, and education which doesn't diminish, that will free us from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Okay, I will stop here now. Do you have any questions? Any other points?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for the wonderful class. Very nice points you mentioned, Maharaj. Thank you so much for the class today. I request devotees.
Haribol.
I request devotees if they have any questions or comments or realizations, they
Hare
can.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, are you able to hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. I was just requesting the devotees if
Hare
they have any
Krishna.
questions or realizations, they can go ahead.
What?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for a beautiful class.
I don't hear anything. I'm finished now. You have any question? Oh, yes. Yes? Haribol, now I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for the wonderful class. I'm requesting devotees if they have any questions or realizations.
They
They
can
can go ahead.
type. They can type it to you also.
Yes, yes, Maharaj.
Anyone has any comments?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for
Unmute yourself.
Thank you, Maharaj. I just want to say thank you, Maharaj, for such a beautiful class. I don't have any question, but I just want to say thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. All praise to
Haribol.
Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj, like the class was really a very nice reminder of how we should surrender to the Lord, and like it's very nice to always hear Srila Prabhupada's instructions. And so Maharaj, over here I always have a question that we always know that okay, whatever pleases to the Lord, we have to do that. But then like there are so many instances, so many conditions which happen in our day-to-day life, and then how do we get an idea that exactly what is it that the Lord wants?
Always follow your guru's instructions. And yes, if everything is being done for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, then that is the best way. I mean, if there are things which is contrary to the principles of bhakti, then definitely it's not Krishna's desire. It is your desire. But anything which is favorable in the execution of devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord, then you're in the right path. There's no doubt. There's no karma in that one. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Like sometimes it happens that you desire something. I know, like we always have that example of how the father does not give the child an ice cream when it is in the winter season because it's not good for the child. So we always have that explanation. But then, like sometimes you desire something so intensely and that is in the service of the Lord, but then things do not happen in that way. And then you start thinking about it like, why has no reason, of course, like there's no, you don't find a perfect answer for it, but still how do we calm our mind in that condition?
Krishna always do the best for his devotee. Okay. It may not happen what you expected to happen, but that is actually good for you. We think that we always we should be the one who should be followed. We should always think what is best for Krishna and his devotees. Follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Take shelter also of those who are more engaged in Krishna's service, who are engaged 24 hours. Then you may be whatever you're doing, whatever you're expecting, this everything is all good for you. If you don't receive what you're expecting immediately, that doesn't mean that maybe Krishna will not give. Maybe he'll give much more than you're expected. It's like Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj is expecting that he will get a kingdom more than his father. But the Supreme Lord, he gave Dhruva a kingdom better than his forefather, better than Lord Brahma, better than Satyaloka. But the question is your reciprocation to everything what's going on. How you are grateful, how you are thankful. Even you see Queen Kunti, in a sense, it's like there's a lot of suffering, material anguish, lamentation. But she's expecting more. So, but that expectation, she wishes that there's more calamities to come, so because that will be the opportunity for her to think about him, to meditate on the Supreme Lord. So it depends on how you receive, how you reciprocate. Nothing is in our control. Krishna is the supreme controller. We can just request or aspire, and if you deserve it, then you'll get it.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. So, Maharaj, I read it yesterday that how, like, again, the examples of Queen Kunti were given, that how she was like in the terms of distress also, she did not complain. Like when Krishna came to them, they did not complain about how her sons were into danger or how her sons were trying to be killed. So this of not complaining to the Lord, we hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam. But as human beings or as the kids of Krishna, the child of Krishna, do we have the right, or should we have that feeling of telling our worries and having our problems told to Krishna? Because in the Bhagavatam we see that the exalted devotees, they do not complain about any condition. So how do we react?
A child doesn't ask anything for his parents. Automatically, the parents know what are the needs of the child. I mean, our approach is that, how can I serve you? To the Supreme Lord. This is the proper, this is the mood of the devotee. We should not ask Krishna to serve us. If in your prayers you're asking Krishna to help, this is good also, yes, because this is the nature. We need help. We need we surrender. That means we give everything Krishna, 100% to Krishna, to the Supreme Lord, to his representative, to the spiritual master, to the Vaishnavas, to the devotees. So even he knows whatever is going on. So if you pray to Krishna, plead of, like, there are different kinds of prayers. It's like pleading, prayer of gratefulness, prayer of love, expressing one's love. So, I mean, if you wish, you can you can pray whatever you wish to pray. But Prabhupada says also that in the beginning we should follow the prayers of the acharyas, repeat them, and because see, the purity of the heart um, is being expressed in those prayers. And right now, our prayers may be sincere, but the purity is still lacking. So, yeah, you can pray like this, express, but at the same time, Krishna knows, even if you don't pray like the way you want to pray. Like right now, you're saying about those things, but it's still okay if you pray, no problem. But if we're
Thank
gonna
you so much.
pray, we should pray,
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Yeah. Hare
Okay.
Krishna. Thank
Hare Krishna. Anything else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This is Brinda here from Baltimore.
Hare Bol.
Thank you so much for a very nice class, Maharaj. I mean, I know that you are now at West Coast, and thank you. Till
No
you
problem.
accepted to give a class. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We have 27 participants. Anybody else would like to ask a question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances, all goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Bol.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for coming on the call so early morning and giving
You're
class.
earlier than me.
Yeah, it's so early for you, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, my question is like sometimes we ask for the material benefits for our children and something.
That's
So
natural.
in Bhagavatam also it's given in Aditi, she was her sons were suffering and she asked Kashyap Muni that please tell me about how can we get rid of their suffering. They don't have place to live and they are somewhere got disappeared like that. So he was telling your desire is like material desire. We are not this body, we are the soul, and your desire is on the bodily level. But still he helps her and giving the payovrata and you know Supreme Lord also helps to fulfill her desire by taking the incarnation of Vamana Deva. So I didn't understand that instead of learning the science of soul, how come Lord is helping for the material benefit?
Well, whatever necessities we need automatically is being provided. Yes, it's we need to survive. We need to survive, and therefore, whatever is needed, we should try to have it. Like devotees work also, but they don't work very hard like the karmis who wish to fulfill their material desires. Devotees are satisfied. Devotees should be happy and content. They may not be rich, but as long as they're happy, executing Krishna consciousness, um, it is natural to have desire to make the family happy, but do it in a Krishna conscious way, not in the materialistic way, materialistic or bodily platform, which will be like only a waste. It doesn't count. What counts actually is our advancement in Krishna consciousness, our eagerness to be a very good disciple of our spiritual master, follow his instructions, and whatever Krishna provides, we should be grateful, we should be happy. One should not endeavor too much. There is a need for bodily necessities, so we should not forget this. We should take care of it actually to keep, he says, to keep the body and soul together to serve Krishna. even in the Grihastha ashram. Grihastha ashram is a learning ashram, how to become detached. Not to increase attachment, but how to become detached, which later on it will culminate in full renunciation, giving up everything, nothing to possess, only Krishna as one's own possession. Do you follow? Hare Krishna. Is she still there?
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna. Anybody else have any questions
or comments? Is it clear? Everyone heard the message?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. So we will end here.
If there are no more questions or anything else, I think we can end the call here, Maharaj. Let's pay our obeisances to all the Vaishnava, Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubyeva patitanam pavanebhyo Jai. Randrashri Pavaki ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Krishna
Bol.
Prabhuji,
Maharaj.
Pranam.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
very much,
much. Hare
Krishna.
Maharaj ki Jai.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Maharaj.
you, Maharaj. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Bol.